Greetings, loyalists and heretics. Welcome to Iron and Ceramite, where we once again enter the warp without an astropath.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Iron and Ceramite podcast. My name is John and as always I'm joined by Shane.
Hello.
Glenn.
Hello.
Dave.
Hello.
And Tommy.
Hello.
How are we all doing, guys? All good?
Good, good. Excellent.
Right.
Very good, thank you.
Well, it's been a month, I think, since almost since the last hobby roundup, so we've got quite a lot of catching up to do. So shall we just jump into it?
Let's.
Okay. Tom, you've sent me about 1,000 photos, so we'll start with you, I think.
There could have been a lot more, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I'll whiz through these then. I know we've got quite a lot to go through.
Oh, you have to whiz.
I feel like I'm in a whizzing mood. I'm gonna whiz, all right? So obviously this is my Eversaw assassin. I've quite enjoyed doing him until Dave told me it looks like the alien from Mars Attacks.
It does, though.
Yeah. It really does, and I even put it on one of the big art sites on Facebook, and everyone was laughing their head off at it. And I was like, they're saying it looks good, but it does really look like that as well, especially close up on the face.
You've done it really well. Like, it does look really good, but it just looks exactly like the alien from Mars Attacks. So
yeah, I think if I had gone traditional and painted the head like white, like a skull white, it would have looked a bit different. But
yeah,
it's almost exactly the same colour as them as well. So, but yeah, I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I don't like doing things too traditional, and although I went most of the armor pretty much how he should look, I thought I'd do the head a little bit different. A little bit of inspiration originally was from the what's the guy from oh god, what is it, Captain America, the villain in that
Red Skull.
That's the guy. Yeah, didn't expect it.
He's literally got a fucking red skull. How did you forget that?
Because I'm not a big Marvel fan, right? So but yeah, that's who I based it on. I remember seeing it from when I was a kid, the original film. Remember when it looked really fake, but yeah, that was quite spooky, so I thought I'd do it like that. It come out all right. Yeah, I mean the base is a little bit scruffy, but I suppose that's how it's supposed to be, you know, grisly and grim dark, how I paint things. Whenever they turn out shit, I just say that grim dark. But
does the job. He's scary enough, isn't he?
Yeah, enjoyed painting it. I do really like the assassin models, all of them actually. Would like to get them into a few more games as soon as I can, really. So yeah, this is just the magazine stuff we've been getting. So I bought like I've got 3 of them now because we're obviously subscribing, and also I thought I'd just pick them up because it's so cheap. Like I said before, you get obviously the lieutenant and the warden now, the royal warden. So I had a few of them. I thought I'd try 2 different schemes, put it to the vote, and it seems like everyone prefers the one on the right, the green one mostly. But I'm still having second thoughts about that, just because it took so much longer to do all the steps in the one on the right, whereas the one on the left does stand out a little bit more, even if it's not as traditional. So I might just still go that route, just because it's a lot easier, just basically a spray and then to fill in the red bits.
Have you done your other warriors yet, or you haven't sent the photos? So I'm assuming not.
No, I've put them together. I haven't painted them yet though. I included this is just something I should have done ages ago because of my McFarlane toy that I've got. You say it's a toy, but the artist proof one I painted up quite some time ago with the battle damage. I thought I just would try something different and paint this, and yeah, relatively happy with how it come out. At least it completes the pose now.
Yeah, I like it, mate. It's cool. It's cool.
Thank you. And
Smurfs garden.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a scavenger at the moment. I was walking past a neighbour's bins, basically, and this old piece of wood was out there, and it was almost identical size to a kill team map. So I took it, basically, didn't ask, just took it. It was clearly out for rubbish. Put some felt over it. I had some sticky felt, and yeah, I mean, obviously, all the stuff on the top can be replaced by other terrain when I get it. So it will originally look better, but I think it's 31 inches by 23 instead of what it should be, which is 30-22, but it's close enough on it. So I'll use it as a kill team map eventually, if we ever learn that, amongst all the other stuff we've got to learn still.
One game at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I decided to use some alternative basing stuff that I've seen a few people use on YouTube and various places, Instagram. So this is tea and herbs. And I know a lot of people thought I'd been drinking and I was gone in the head, which actually on this occasion isn't the truth. I was fully sober. And yeah, I thought it come out all right. I was going for the forest floor look, as you can see on the bottom right there. Yeah, it come out pretty well. And I think I've got a big bowl of it. It's really dirt cheap to make. So that's what I'm going to do. All of my Imperial Fist bases like eventually.
How durable is that?
Very durable. I was thinking that maybe it wasn't going to work. Nothing was going to stick to it. But I've got this a can of that. Is it Munitorium varnish stuff? The Games Workshop varnish spray. And I never used that. Well, I used it on one model and it pretty much ruined the model. So I never wanted to use it again. But using it on this actually works fine and it makes it rock solid. And then when you put the models on, they're okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure what way you sealed it to finish it.
Yeah,
because if you hadn't anything on the top of it, that would have just brushed off once the PVA had gone off after a while.
Yeah, that was the problem. I mean, because the PVA made it go hard, but like you say, it would have eventually peeled away. So hopefully this will keep it all right, but it remains to be seen.
This is going to get to your first game and they're all just going to look like boop, 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 and it's all well.
Yeah, like all mouldy and rank.
No, I was actually quite impressed with this because when you were doing it, I was like, what the fuck is he on now? But no, it turned out really well.
Send me a message saying something to do with am I having a stroke or something along those lines. But so this is everything I've been. Obviously, I've started my Imperial Fists army. I've painted, I think, 7 or 8 models now so far. So I thought I would just get everything built that I have left. Obviously, this is the result of that. Got my executioner there as well. Got a bit of inspiration from going against Dave's a few times and seeing him firing it, and it looks pretty quite a lot of fun, to be honest, to be shooting that thing across the table. So I wanted one of them. And obviously, as you can see, lots of troops. There are some Devastators, some Eliminators, some... Also, I've got there some assault intercessors, heavy intercessors, normal intercessors. So yeah, I've got a good variety of models there. I've got also a command squad at the front. So yeah, I've got everything sprayed there in white and ready to go.
Were any of these originally going to be Blood Angels, like requisitioned from that list, or is it all new?
I'd say about 85-90% if it's new. The only things I requisitioned were the Eliminators and the Eradicators, which were only based in red. They wasn't painted, so I could just spray over them. I mean, there's a couple of the models that it's gone on a bit thick because I couldn't be bothered to try and get that off of the plastic. It was just too much hassle.
Yeah.
But I think when they're just standing at the back shooting from distance, it shouldn't matter too much.
So how many points do you reckon that is? I don't know whether you've counted them up yet. Well,
obviously, I'm sure we'll mention it later anyway, but I'm playing a match against John tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to be 2,000 points. So I've got a comfortable 2,000 points, and I'd say probably got about 3,500 points built and ready to go for Imperial Fists.
Oh.
So yeah, around about that.
Nice.
How many points painted?
Oh, hardly anything. Like I say, 7 or 8. Maybe if I used, which I could, 2 of my assassins, I'd have probably about just over the 500 point mark, so I could play a small game with the ones that I've got painted, but it wouldn't really be worth it, to be honest.
That's handy. So I'm going into tomorrow with a 10-point bonus, which on my recent running record, I bloody need it.
Not against me, mate. Remember, that's a completely different kettle of fish. We'll see. This is full on different tactics for me though, so I'll just see how it goes, I suppose.
Yeah. Are you taking the tank with you tomorrow, Tom?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, John, that's going to be interesting.
I've taken out Dave's tanks before, so
I've got a Tech Marine in there.
Say again.
Tech Marine in there with him.
You didn't take out my executioner.
No, but I ran my Rhino into it. Keeps out of the way.
Yeah, good point.
I'm not taking my Rhino. Oh well. Anyway, we'll talk about that next time. Right, so then all your models, man.
Yeah, so obviously You'll probably see a couple of the other ones in a minute. This is the most recent Imperial Fist model I've painted, and I think probably the best. The colours went probably the best I've got them on any of the models so far, with the white undercoating instead of the grey, because I was originally putting a grey one on to try and mimic grey seer with the Yandan yellow contrast. But they come out a little bit dark. You could say grim dark, but for the Imperial Fist, I think they pop a little bit more if they've got that brighter yellow. So this, and as you can see, it's based as well. So this is how the rest of the army will look from now on. But
so is that still a Yandan yellow but on white rather than?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're still using the contrast paint. It's just on
yeah,
a white base. Yeah.
It's surprising actually how much just the grey from grey to white actually changed the colour. The primer that I'm using now is Rust-Oleum. I'm sure people have heard of that and they've recommended that before. And I thought, I'll give it a go. So I bought some. I think it was like $9.99 or whatever. And it goes on really, really well. Perfect for the contrast. Sits on it really well.
Was that a white primer?
Yeah, pure white. And it's not too powdery either. So.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is getting a good white spray.
How do you do the bullet marks? I was going to.
So obviously you get these little sort of hobby kits, don't you, and things like that. It comes with certain various bits and pieces, and it's got you can get like a mini hand screwdriver type of a thing.
Oh yeah, I've got
one of them. Yeah. Which it's got the different inserts into the end, so you can make it a little bit bigger or smaller, the holes, and it works really well. I just thought I painted it all first, and then I put the holes in afterwards, and it is pretty much the grey plastic that you see underneath it. But if you wash that, it does sort of look like ceramite in a way, that sort of grey sort of colour you'd imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit darker, but yeah, you can't notice that it's just the plastic coming through.
Yeah, I mean, in the photo, it looks good.
Yeah, cool. Cheers, man. So this was how the yellow come out with the grey primer underneath, and you can see how much duller it is. So yeah, I'm still happy with the way this turned out, but it didn't pop too much. I thought if I had a big army of these, they would look a bit too dull. So that's why I changed and started using the white, and I'm glad I did, really, looking at them now together.
Yeah, when you first put this one up, I didn't see it, but when you flick between the two side by side like this, you really can see the difference.
Yeah. Obviously, I put some more battle damage on the shields and on not too much on the lieutenant, because I think it might have been you, Shane, or one of you guys said not to put too much on the HQ. Obviously, you'd have more of it might have been you, Glenn, actually. But obviously
Definitely
the troops.
Was me.
Was it? Yeah,
no, definitely not. What do I know about painting?
Well, someone fucking said it.
He's having a fever dream.
Are you going to rebase this one?
Yeah, I've already actually. If you can just about see on the right hand side there, it's got like just a plain red base, ready to eventually have the other stuff on now, because someone kept saying to me this looked like an oatmeal biscuit.
I was going to say it's the digestive base over to the tea and herb base.
Yeah, various different food bases with me at the moment, but no, that one's gone now. Yeah, I really didn't like that. Same with this one as well. So yeah, the only difference here really is, and it's actually gave me. You can see on the left hand side one, he's got a little bit of damage on his leg where I dropped him. So that was one of the reasons I thought battle damage then. He just got away with it, and I just went over it with a couple of bullet holes. But yeah, I think this was the first model I painted in Imperial Fist. Probably still my best one, actually, although obviously I was using the grey primer, so it's a little bit dull, but I was really happy with this one originally.
His face is really good.
See, that's where it is. That's exactly what it is. His face come out really well, and sometimes you just can't get them faces right, can you? No matter how hard you try.
Mm.
But yeah, this one just come out perfectly.
A couple more shields.
Yeah, that's just the other two guys in the squad. Bit of variation. I wasn't too happy with these two. The one on the right was okay. One on the left, just I brushed over it with some dry brushing with lead belcher. I got a bit carried away, and as you can see, it sort of really dulled that one down. But grim dark, get away with it. Fine. And my sergeant for the assault intercessors. So I've only painted 2 of the intercessors. Still got 3 more left to have. Obviously, so I could actually use a little painted 500-point army. But yeah, he come out okay. He sort of reminds me of the guy from what was it? Fucking hell, here we go again. Bloody Blue Aliens.
Oh, Avatar.
Avatar, that's the one.
Yeah, he
I
does
was
look
thinking
like
of
that,
like the. I was thinking, is it toy soldiers?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. It looks like
Yeah.
Just his face.
His name
Yeah.
Major something. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the guy. Yeah, no, quite happy with how he come out. This again was the white undercoat, and it's not as bright as the other one. I think I've definitely learned as the models have got along exactly how much I can get away with doing. But yeah, quite happy with him. Grey-haired old man. And here is my Tor Garadon, which I really enjoyed painting. It's a cool model. I will admit I went grimdark purposefully on this one, just to match up with the base. Obviously, there's battle damage on the base, so this is the first one I properly put the battle damage fully across. And yeah, I was really happy with how he turned out.
Yeah, he looks awesome, mate. And again, you've nailed his face.
Yeah, it was quite easy. I mean, I suppose it's just some of the models have got better detailed faces than others. Like, you know, some of them have got mold lines on and things like that. But this one, because it's quite a big model, it was just really easy to put the contrast over the Gilliman flesh contrast.
Mm.
And that was literally all I had to do. And it just come out really well because it's so well detailed.
His power fist is just insane.
Yeah.
It's a deadly weapon. It is I think with his strength, and I think it's ×3, so I think it's a 12 strength weapon. So it is pretty deadly, yeah.
Very nice.
These are just the rest of the blade guard. That, obviously, you can see I put the sword on his back. A little bit of Geralt of Rivia coming through there. I thought a little touch to that. I'm a big Witcher fan, as well as Warhammer. So this is actually what I was talking about. If you look at his head, you can see a mold line going right the way over his cranium. I mean, I could have taken that off. That is my fault, really. But yeah, look at it. It doesn't look as clear, does it? His head, he's come out a bit.
Yeah, well, it's just the paint job looks all right, but it's just a weird lump in it.
Yeah, he is a bit strange. I think it was one of the older heads from a while back because the plastic was a different colour. I just had it in my bits box. It was like a softer plastic, softery sort of a plastic. Not as dark grey, it was more lighter as well. I don't know if Glenn remembers the different plastics in different eras, but
Yeah, I do actually. It's sad.
And this, I decided to make a chapter master. He looks okay. I wasn't that happy with him, really. I probably should have painted him with darker hair so it stood out better. I know a few of you guys said that instead of the ginger hair. And I think Glenn was saying, "Why have you made him a ginger?" He said.
What's that?
I believe it was sent as a message, not as a vocal thing. So
yeah, but that's how I read your messages.
Yeah, apart from Chinese, apparently.
What with John there today. They've just woken up so they can get away with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but this will probably never be used because let's be honest, a chainsword and a bolter isn't really that interesting.
It's a really impressive looking sergeant.
Yeah, basically, I could actually. Yeah, it's a good point. I could probably use him as a sergeant, couldn't I, if I wanted to in the Intercessors?
Yeah, I've got a few of the Primaris lieutenants and captains and whatever that have been rolled into like an Intercessor squad just because it's an extra man. I think it's from the old Imperium, the last magazines.
It's a really good idea, actually. I didn't think of using them in that way. Yeah, I can do that. There's him closer up. Thanks for that, John.
You sent it to me. So.
I did send it to you, but I forgot I sent it to you broken and all mismatched.
Yeah.
But this was the closer up picture I was saying. You can definitely see the Mars Attacks resemblance there now. But it still does the job of being creepy. So.
All right. Yeah, well, I left that one to the end on purpose because now we have to suffer this.
Oh,
there he is. See, I can just do a whole episode
on Aldis and his fly spotter.
Is that how fanboying?
We've already done a video on the Black Templars release, and
exactly. So
I'm going to work the magic, and in that empty space, we'll see a link to that video. You can go and watch Dave I don't know what he was doing in that video,
Fanboying.
but you can go watch his thoughts on the Black Templars. But what did you think about old Horsey Teeth?
Yeah, the horse of Hell's Reach.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's very similar to the last one. It's not too standout-ish, and it's obviously quite similar to the new Emperor's Champion model, like Tommy said in the group chat. But it's going to be nice to have all of the Black Templar models scaled up and fitting in better with a Primaris army. And I do really like the Cenobite Servitors as well. I'm looking forward to giving the banner a go. So yeah, overall, very pleased.
I was going to ask you,
like
Dave,
it. It's cool.
I can't remember how your small miniature model looks, but with the sword being held up behind him, is that got any relevance to whose sword that is, or is that just decoration?
That was, I think it was just one of the relics of Hell's Reach, if I'm honest.
Is that what the servitors are dragging along as well? Like that big.
Yeah.
Cross.
So,
Actually,
one of them's, I think it's slightly different to what they had before, but.
Do they do anything like? Do they just come along as decoration, or do they have a points value? And what do they do in a list?
I think they do have. I think we used to get all three for the models that I've got now, the original models. It's all three for 18 points, I think. And they've got really, really bad attacks, and but they're more for buffing. So I think that they give like a bit of a boost to everyone. I can't remember the exact stats, but it is literally the sort of there to keep morale up, I believe.
Are they the sort of thing you'll stick in front of Grimaldus to absorb a couple of hits, or will they not? You don't think that will affect him like that?
I don't know if they got the lookout sir roll. I'm not sure. I don't know if servitors can. But if I know that they get buffed if they're near Grimaldus, and other units get buffed if they're near them, pretty much.
Okay.
So as he's been,
and they look cool.
As he's been Primarist, right? Has there been anything about the lore of him crossing the Rubicon, or have they just said, yeah, no, he's now a Primarist? Because like a lot of the old,
nothing that I've seen.
Oh, okay, maybe that'll come.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I think it'd be quite cool if they do mention it. Because obviously, there's this whole rivalry with Imhotep, the Storm Lord, and he's not particularly friendly with Gazkul either. So, I think one of the latest bits of lore for Hellbrecht, at least, was that they were going after Gazkul with Yarick. So. Hopefully, there's some cool lore that comes out with the new Primaris Black Templars, but we'll see. But he does look cool.
Does.
All we need now is some Sword Brethren.
I think if you get
definitely cheer Glenn up even
Glenn
more.
might come round and like physically assault you.
It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it for the Sword Brethren.
All right, let's.
If we get that in the next pod, I think we're just going to zoom out and they'll go back round to Glenn, and there'll just be him hanging in a rope, like this, slowly twisting around on the screen. I don't think he could take any more of this. And actually, he's got a point.
Why not?
Oh, your face. It's hard to put up with that smirk.
It's just, yeah, I bet it is. But I'm sure that down the line, everyone's going to get the same sort of loving. Chaos have been left behind for a fair amount of time, so we'll see.
It's easy to be all nice and I hope you get it, because if there was no Black Templars, you'd still be sulking.
It's always the way though that whoever gets the update towards the end, like gets less time with their army buffed before then the next edition rolls out, and you have to go through the whole situation again.
Yeah.
I hope we don't get a new edition too soon. I'm still
learning this. It won't be a while yet.
Yeah. Although every new army that gets an update seems to trump Death Guard by the look of it. Everyone's just saying every new release that comes out, it's when Death Guard come out and everyone's like, oh, they're OP. I feel like
it's Codex creep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've had your time in the sun.
Barely.
I just actually today I watched a video about the list that won the London Open, the London Grand Tournament. It was AdMech list. So it's
I can believe that.
yeah.
I've seen Glenn's
Glenn, you
last.
did go quite quiet over the weekend.
No. Which list was it? Was it the electro priests and
no, it was a guy running 3 patrols, so he was only starting with like 4 command points, but 2 of them were Mars and 1 of them was another Forge World, and they just had a load of Rangers and a load of the other Skitarii. That was it. Just loads and loads of them, and then a couple of flyers. And he used all of the strats apparently, and just in turn 1 kept nuking the opposition.
Ugh.
And that was it.
fanciful?
Horrible army to play against.
Fuse loved it.
No
Didn't.
comment. Right, so
So
Dave,
that's why I changed army
huh?
before. That's why I changed army to give you a chance. And well, bad things happened.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about Dave's stuff.
So this is my work in progress, Repulsor Executioner and Impulsor. So I just very, very quickly try to get these up to tabletop for my little game with Shane. Lots and lots still to do on them, but they're looking all right so far. I'm quite happy with how the script's coming out. But I may change some of the colour scheme. So I may do some of the weapons red, a bit more in keeping with how I've done my Primaris infantry. But we'll see.
I think it'll give them that extra. If you're just doing like the barrels and stuff, it'll give it that extra pop of colour, won't it?
Yeah, I think that's probably what I will do, because I saw obviously with some of the releases from Warhammer with the Executioner with the multi-melter on top. There's a lot of red in that, and I really like that, so I may copy it.
You wouldn't do the laser destroyer bit red, though, would you?
Probably not. No, I think that'd be
No.
too much.
It looked like a dog's penis, otherwise, wouldn't it? Coming out the top of it.
Right. Definitely not now, anyway. This is my first squad of Assault Intercessors. So again, these are just tabletop. I'm quite happy with how they come out. I didn't sink too much time in them. I didn't manage to get the transfers on for when I played Shane, because when I went to put the transfers on, I realised I only had 4 black ones left. So I had to order some more. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how they come out. I mostly just contrast paint. I went over the whole model with, or the armour at least, with Null Oil. So they look a bit shinier. It looks a bit, it's darkened it down a bit compared to some of the other ones. I really can't tell whether I like it or not. So yeah, I'm still undecided.
I think it gives them more of like a in-action battle sort of look, like the sort of grime they would have picked up.
Maybe so a bit rained on.
I think it works, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it works.
It comes out right. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure they're oiled up their armor before they go out, didn't they? So
completely lubed.
Yeah. Slide into the enemy.
And that's just the other squad. The sergeant was a very similar pose. It's from one box set, but they give you enough to do 2 sergeants in it. So I thought, why not? Because I doubt I'm going to run too many 10-man squads of Assault Intercessors. So I've done 2 separate squads, which is exactly what I run against you, John, a few weeks ago, and against Shane as well. So yeah, I'm quite happy with overall, but again, it's just tabletop. I haven't gone too much in detail on it.
Did the sword arms come with them kits in the actual box? Because all of mine were from the Indominus box set. Remember that half I bought? Didn't come with any of that. So
they were just straight out of the Assault Intercessor box.
Oh, cool.
And this is my Primaris Lieutenant from the Imperial Magazine. I'm quite, again, I went all over him as Null Oil, and I just can't decide whether I like it or not. because it just sort of makes it look wet. And I couldn't take any good pictures without it sort of all shining off. But I'm quite happy with how the gun looks and the tabard. Overall, I think maybe on the next one it shows the freehand that I did. It was definitely some of the best freehand I've done. So obviously Templar on the shield, and I think I wrote Fury on the pauldron. So
Fury,
yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I'm definitely happy with the shield. But overall, I sort of lost a bit of enthusiasm halfway through, and just covered it in Nolan oil on fence. I regret that. So, but yeah, he looks all right. It will look all right next to whatever he goes against. And then my Necrons from the Imperial Magazine. I'm actually really happy with these. It didn't take too much time at all. It is Besticanum grey contrast and a thematic blue contrast as well, and then just some dry brushing on the top. I will do something more with the base at some point, but I haven't decided what yet. So it's just Astrogranite for the time being. I may go over a dry brush. I may stick some skulls or something on there, but yeah, I'm quite happy with how they've come out for very, very quick turnaround with these.
Are we all in the same sort of boat with Necrons, where we're all just going to do them quickly?
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Templars are always going to be my first love. I'm going to try and spend a bit more time doing them, and Necrons are just sort of... I spent a lot more time on the Royal Warden than I did the Warriors, but I thought, if you're going to have a blob of like 20 Warriors, I'm not going to spend half a day getting everyone immaculate. I'm just going to literally just chug them out. So...
I like the blue on the silver. It looks really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and on to you, Shane.
So similar to Dave, I was finishing up a couple of models just to get ready for the battle we were going to have. So these were from last month. You would have seen the Ultramarines that I was in the midst of repainting, and these are the result of that. So they're just standard Intercessors. I think the difference is that I unlike most of my other Marines, I got all of the pack markings done as well as the transfers. So they are fully good to go, tabletop ready, all detailed, done and dusted. As I said, most of the army that I've done so far, I've still got to do all the pack markings and transfers, but this squad done and dusted. So it was quite pleased to have one that's fully done, and looked all right on the table.
Yeah, definitely. I think they look really good.
Yeah.
But all the pack markings I did freehand, and then just the transfers. But I actually had all the lamium, medium, and stuff like that on hand, so that I was able to paint it over the transfer and make it matte like the rest of it. But yeah, not overly wolfy, but wolfy enough.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Shane, I'd like to ask, with regards to transfers, I know you and Dave both are quite astute with them now. What's your exact process of actually putting them on, and have you found what works best? Just because eventually that's what I want to use for my guys as well.
I can't remember. It was actually a long time ago. I think, Glenn, you put it in the Facebook group. Well, actually, I think it was Tom. You mentioned it in there, and I think, Glenn, you followed up to say, "Oh, I use this and this," and it's also on one of the Citadel videos. But it's lamium, medium, and something else, and you put one thing on first, then you put the transfer on, and then you put the lamium, medium on over the top. But I can't remember the name of it. I've got a pot just up in my paint area, but that's what I do. I use the two different things first, while the transfer is just on a little dish covered in water, and then slide it on with a pair of tweezers, and then dab it dry with a bit of kitchen roll, and then that's when I put the medium over the top of it.
And that sort of sets it, does it? So it doesn't sort of ruffle up. Okay, cool.
I think pretty much all of them went on. I mean, maybe one was a little bit not quite right, but because it was still, when it first goes on, you can move it about a bit, so I was still able to move it about and get it flush.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things I found is that leave it to soak for longer than you think it may need. because it just makes it a lot easier to work with. Don't leave it too long because it just starts floating off of the fucking transfer sheet. But yeah, it makes it a lot easier to work with when you actually go to put it on the model. You can move it around a bit. You don't have to be so perfect in the placement straight away. Yeah, I mean, I don't use any of the other bits and bobs. I literally just plonk it on there and sort of brush it on with a very old sort of thick paintbrush. And this works out so far, but at some point I'm sure I'm going to pick up and all the bloody transfers are going to come off. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
Cool.
No, I'm scared to start doing that. I feel like I'm just going to spend hours throwing them away, sticking them on and ripping them.
Honestly,
if you're gonna
I've got
have
so many ultramarine transfers,
Yeah.
so don't worry.
Yeah.
I could probably give you at least 20.
But yeah,
Sorry.
I'll take them and get some practice in. On the next episode, I'll have all the ultramarine symbols on my face.
And then this is the Invicta War Suit, which I just finished watching. Is it the second? I think it's the third Matrix movie, and it reminded me exactly of the bit in the end of the Matrix movie where they're all in those mech suits. Very similar to that, and again, painted up, ready to go against Dave. And again, fully did this one, all transfers as well in place and done. It was actually much easier than I thought it was going to be because I took it all apart and then everything that's in silver, I just literally based in lead belcher. So I only had to put a wash on it. All of the black joints I based in Abaddon black, I think it was, spray can. So that was that. Didn't have to do anything with that. And then all of the bits that are painted sort of blue, that's the Fang, which is the same colour as my Predator Razorback / Rhino. And again, I based all of that in McCrag blue, like we talked about actually last pod. So this was one where I experimented with just trying to base all of the different components, different colours, just to speed up the painting. It actually works really well. I think the bit that took me the longest was the Marine pilot. Everything else came together quite nicely. And I did think it was going to have a bit of new model syndrome on tabletop, but it did all right. But we'll come into that.
It definitely did not.
Yeah, and again, pack markings on the knee, free-handed as well. So yeah, quite pleased with how it came out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool model. Definitely
and
a cool model.
I was really happy with the Mechanicum skull on the back, which is the first time I've tried to do the black and white in that fashion. So I was really, really pleased with myself with that. But yeah, it took a while.
Oh, it looks really good.
It's great.
Very crisp. Cool. Right, Glenn, you didn't send anything in. You didn't do only one bit of painting, and you weren't happy with it, apparently.
Yeah, I did an Insta live with Dave, and yeah, that was basically me trying to work out the paint scheme for my Necrons, and just got pissed off and ended up dry brushing a little bit of Crimson Fists, I think, and didn't actually finish anything. So I tried a couple of different things with the Necrons, and I just couldn't get it the way I wanted it. To be fair, it was the first time I was really dabbling with contrast paints, so it might just have been I wasn't particularly using it very well. But yeah, since then it's just been sat on a paint station, and yeah, I'll get to it at some point. I'm sure the new magazines will be out at some point this week.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, not too long to wait. Cool. So now we're starting the Imperial Magazine. I thought I'd finally count up the points and work out what I've got so far for Death Guard. So that's my entire army, everything that I've got that's painted and fully built on the table, and that is 3,297 points on the table there. I thought I was quite happy as well. I was like, I'm done. I'll come back to this when Imperium's done. And then I was just having a little look at other stuff. And now I really want to get a Demon Prince. I want to get a Defiler. I want to get Hellbrute. Obviously, I want to get Morty. So I don't think I'm going to be leaving it alone as much as I thought I was going to.
No, I think you should go with it, man. I really think you should get that completed because I think you've come such a long way with it. It'd be cool to have the Demon Prince or Primarch, sorry, and all that.
And it's just like, it's getting to the point now because we play when we can 2,000 point games, and I just seem to run very, very, very similar lists every time. Like, so I've got to the point now where I haven't got a lot of like variety because 2,000 points is fairly hard to fill up with some lists. I mean, you can always throw in a few more Poxwalkers here and there, but then I haven't got like my group of Terminators are obviously really good, and I've got loads of Marines, but I haven't got like that one big model that, like, you know, like you've got Bjorn and Glenn, you brought out the file around the big model that takes your focus, and I don't feel like I've got something particularly like that.
To be fair, because of the size of games that we're playing on, the size of tables we're playing with, you don't really need that because the 2,000 points is supposed to be played on twice the size of the table that we're actually playing on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be a bit bigger.
You know, having that big thing on the table, it's really hard to avoid.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. I know that we're only playing in our houses at the minute, but I'm just thinking, like, when we get to like bigger tables, bigger arenas or whatever, it'd be nice to have like a few more options.
Arenas.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like arena of war, not like going to. We're not playing in Wembley. Got a table in the middle of Wembley with a 5 of us stick around it. It was like, I was quite happy. And I think it's because they're on like a small shelf. So I was like, I filled my shelf up. And I was like, actually, there's so much more that I don't have. My plan of trying to save some money and just do the Imperial Magazine has gone out the window, one issue in. So going well. But yeah, so that's that. And it's all like, if you want to know exactly what's there, you can't see in the picture. It's on my Instagram. So I won't bore you with it here. But then going on to Imperial Magazine, here's my Primaris Lieutenant, Ultramarine, of course.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah, this is probably one of the models I've taken the longest on. Like really, really, like the shield especially. I just wasn't happy with it for ages. Do you
think it's because it's a different style? Like, I mean, I know you usually used to say with regards to your Death Guard, if I get something wrong, it don't matter because I can just throw this on it or that on it, and it's supposed to look like that.
Yeah,
with these, you can't.
Really, really, like trying to be clean, not make a mess, not paint over lines and stuff.
Done a good job though, still.
Yeah,
definitely.
And then like I did the first bit of proper freehand on his helmet and on his little chest plate thing. Yeah, so I'm fairly happy with how he's come out.
Yeah.
So what was it? The chest plate supposed to be your old army logo, was it? Or
the colours of my old regiment. So I've just gone with that. Yeah, off the flag.
Army.
Well, it was like, I didn't know what to do because it was like leave it blue, and then I was looking at all the pictures that are quite intricate, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to do some of the ones that are coming off in the posters. So I was just like, three thick blobs of paint will do me. And I haven't done any of the script yet because I haven't decided sort of my theme or what I want to write. So I'm going to wait till I've got most of the army and then try and like work out something so it all suits together. So I'll do that probably towards the end and go back over it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm fairly happy with him. And then my Necrons as well. So
I do like your colour scheme on this.
I really like the black. Yeah, the black and silver looks awesome together there.
Yeah. So yeah, like it's based in lead belcher, black Templar contrast, and then it is soulstone blue for all the blue bits, and then the Rune Lord brass for the brass bits. Yeah,
I did like the little bit of lore you put into it as well as to why they've gone for the black. I thought that was quite nice.
Yeah, hunting the Namakaj Crusade. And And then eventually
But
because
they're a bit fucked, really. The Namakaj Crusades got the Namakaj dynasty and the sodding Falconite dynasty after it now. So
well, we're not.
Yeah.
I mean the
to be fair, they win at the moment because it's only 6 warriors and 2 royal wardens. But
let's do it, all right.
when it gets to the end of Imperium Magazine, they may have a bit of an issue.
And then my warriors are pretty much the same. A bit of Rune Lord brass up the spine. I mean, this guy's eyes. So the Warpstone or Soulstone, it's a weird paint because I think it's meant to be quite liquidy, like to look. I think it's designed to look like water, but I like the color of the blue. But it doesn't really apply very well because it's very.
I think. Did you watch the tutorial?
No.
Of course you didn't.
What a stupid
I
question.
think they're supposed to be over silver paints.
Okay.
Because they're meant to sort of be thinly put over silver paints, so that they sort of look like jewels.
Yeah, because when I started like sticking it on, I was like, I feel like that's it. But I really like that color of blue, so I was quite excited.
No, it does look good.
It's just this guy's eyes. Obviously, I filled them up a little bit. And then there you go. There's another one, and then the last one, and then I haven't done. The only thing I haven't done is the bases, because I want them to obviously all my armies have different bases. So I'm going to try and get like I think it's like Martian Astrogranite or Martian something. I don't know what it's called, but
You haven't got any herbs just knocking about then?
Oh, well, I've got some tea bags I could go and rip up.
Well, if you want Martian Earth, why don't you stick some paprika on it?
Yeah.
Not a bad idea, actually.
I'll see what I've got on the shelf. the kitchen Necrons. So that's pretty much it. Now I'm out of stuff to paint until the next issues come.
Hopefully it won't be too long.
Walk into the Games Workshop.
Very quickly about the Necrons, because I know after we did the last what's it called, Librarius Omnis, I said to you the Necrons, or the ones that up to now, that I found them really easy to paint fully assembled. Did you give that a go, or did you paint them on the spur?
Yes, I did. So the Necron Warrior, which one? This one was the first one I did. So he was fully assembled when I painted him. I didn't hate it because it was fairly simple. I didn't hate it. The only thing is, obviously, where he's holding his gun, whatever it is called, just getting in to sort of the bits and pieces behind was a bit of a pain. But I don't know.
Still not sold on it.
No, the Warden I did separately, but then when I was gluing them together, because they're very fiddly, it was like, I'm sort of. This isn't the Death Guard where I can paint over it with a bit of gore, where the glue smears. I might with these Necrons, I probably will build them all, and paint like you suggested, because it wasn't too bad. It's just more fiddly than I'm used to. Yeah, not too bad. So I'm borrowing a trip to Games Workshop and risking the wrath of the missus. I might be on a bit of a painting pause till we get another delivery. And then so like we've said, we've all had some gaming time in, haven't we? I think. So what was it? Shane and Dave, your game was first, wasn't it?
Yeah. Shane came over to mine a couple of weeks ago, and it was Black Templars against Wolves, and it was a really good game, really interesting, but not quite as close as our last game.
No.
So Shane's plan sort of all went very well, quite smoothly, and I was completely outplayed. He was definitely the better player on the day, and I got to hold my hands up to that. But I learned a lot, and I think it's always good to reflect on your losses and sort of think, what could I have done better? Because I had a game plan, and as soon as in turn one he took out my Impulsor, which I was going to push right up the table with and try and stop him bringing all these sort of fast attack troops up. And he took that out, and I was like, well, fuck, what am I going to do now? And his list was very good as well, because he had a lot of units that were very strong in their own right. So I managed to take out the Eradicators quite early on, but he still had Razorback, still had his Invicta War Suit and his Wolfen, his Thunderwolf Cavalry. And yeah, no, it was a really interesting game, but he managed to get his whole army across the board, and I sat in my half for the entire game just going, fuck, fucking die, fuck. And it was very attritional, and if it was model by model, it probably would have been a draw or very close to a draw. However, points-wise, he absolutely wiped the board with me because he had me pinned right into pretty much my deployment zone in my half, and I couldn't get anywhere near his objectives. So,
I mean, in all fairness, there was some luck in some of the dice rolls as well, like the old.
That's putting it lightly. Yeah.
Turn one, I ignored the big tank and just went for the smaller of the two, which was why I took it out, because it didn't have as many wounds. I had no idea. What are they? They're what are they called? The
impulsors.
Yeah, I had no idea that they were they had that many wounds and they cost that many points until like we started the game, and then realised okay. But I thought I could wear one turn's worth of output from it at least, which was fine. And then I just got incredibly lucky on the I think it was turn 3. The Razorback fired off with his twin las cannons and rolled a 12 for damage, and that was it. Like it was it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, and he rolled a 6 for damage against the Impulsor as well. So he had a very good game. So
the Razorback did really well, because as soon as I'd taken out the tanks, it was just like, because it's las cannons, it was just taking out one Marine here or there.
Yeah.
It wasn't any good after that. But as soon as it did the job it needed to do, and because I think a lot of people look at the quaint Razorback and go, it's just that's original Marines. That's no threat.
That's exactly what I did. I went, look,
you left
look
it
at
alone.
that idiot bringing a Razorback. But yeah, no, it was a really good game. But obviously, the Thunderwolf Cavalry came literally just storming up the field, and they charged my Hellblasters. And I had a squad of 10, and by the time they had done with them, luckily Hellbreak got involved, and they only managed to take out 5. But when you think that the point cost on Hellblasters is absolutely ridiculous, and him to take out half of the unit just took away so much of my firepower. And it's just a very, very well executed game by Shane, and very enjoyable, but not anywhere near as close as our previous game.
No, it was as I said, it was a very, very attritional though. Like as I said, the Thunderwolf didn't really last very long. The Wolven didn't last very long. It was like, luckily my backline was fairly well protected, but again, it would have gone a different way had your assault terminators made their charge.
Yeah, absolutely. If they were going in on Meow on his own, and that would have been taking away points for you and scoring them for me. But instead, Bjorn decided to get involved.
Well, he was still back there. At that point, he had done nothing. He was just twaddling around in the backfield because he couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah. But no, I enjoyed it. It was lots of fun. I learned a lot. I think that I need to, again, I think that me and Tommy were saying this previously, is that we use our Terminators as sort of deep strike, and then they're not as effective as they could be if we didn't use them as aggressively, if so to speak, because if you don't make the charge, they sit there and just draw an absolute ton of fire, and then are just ready to be charged.
I think it's where you deep strike them as well, because I had my Terminators in deep strike as well, but rather than trying to find a way to put them in the back line, I ended up putting them in mid board, and then I also had the assault intercessors in outflank, but they came on and you played that stratagem with your, is it aggressors? Who are the dudes? Oh no, inceptors.
Reavers.
No, it's the dudes in like the jump packs with the guns.
Oh, suppressors.
Suppressors, that's it. And they just blew half of them away when they came on. I was like, oh shit, that was a waste of time.
But again, you held me. I just couldn't get rid of units quick enough. I think that you had one Bloodclaw, one
And my
Assault
sergeant in the
Intercessor,
corner. Yeah.
and a Terminator at one point, and I was just like, and I chose attrition as well. And every single turn, we managed to kill the exact same amount. So I could have scored 16 to 20 points overall in the game, which would have made it a lot closer. Every single time we killed the same amount of units, so very attritional, but points wise, just absolutely wiped the floor with me. So
did you go 5 rounds?
yeah, we went all the way. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, as I said, enjoyable game.
Oh, good. And then Glenn come round and beat me.
Is that it?
Enough said, really.
It was a really good game, but it's just another loss for the Death Guard. And I went into it feeling pretty confident. I spent a lot of time going over my list. I worked out all my strats and gave everyone buffs. Like, I like to give one of my plague marine champions. I like to give him the old plague bringer. Don't think he even swung that thing.
Oh.
Like, his squad died in the foot, like, because Glenn went first, took out a blight hauler straight away, took out the squad apart from the champion, who spent the rest of the game running around trying to get to stuff, and then just died later on. And I know, obviously, before we went in, because Glenn played World Eaters, like the old 1 wound Chaos Space Marines. So I went in with that sort of, here we go. And it wasn't until afterwards, because we was like obviously playing on my table, which is pretty small. And then Glenn was like, oh, I thought, I'll get into combat with him. Not quite realizing two attacks in combat, which sort of, if it was one attack.
Two turns of attacking in combat.
two turns of attack in combat. So where normally, if we got into it like Dave or Tom, when we get into it, it's like, oh, cool. But so he would attack me, kill something. I'd attack back, hopefully kill something. And then he'd get another go. So I was getting really, really ground down quicker than I expected. The 1 wound thing was a bit of something I focused on. And then, I was quite happy to get into combat until I started getting killed, realized what I'd done. And then I think my Terminators did their job. Like, when I pushed them up the board, killed things I wanted them to kill, but then they found themselves stood next to the Defiler and ended up in combat with that thing, and basically become a non-factor for quite a while, until they died.
So what's this 2 attack thing then? Is that like specific to World Eaters, or is it stratagem, or?
It's Corn Berserkers can fight twice per fight phase. And there's a stratagem as well. You can pay 2 CP for a unit of Terminators to become the Red Butchers, which gives them +1 strength and the ability to fight twice as well. So that was a unit of Lightning Clawed Terminators running around to strength 5, re-rolling wounds, getting to fight twice. Yeah, they were. But the Terminators didn't come in until maybe turn 3 or turn 4 till I dropped them.
Yeah, quite.
Because I was looking for the opportune moment to bring them in, and I realized that it's a really small table. I might as well have just deployed them in my own deployment zone. So I just sort of dropped them midfield. In fact, I think one of the units came out just outside my deployment zone.
Yeah.
But they came in next to a Terminator Chaos Lord who was giving me +1 to my charges. They all had Icon of Wrath, I think it is. So it means I get to reroll my charges. So my guys are coming down needing an 8 to charge with a reroll. So my Terminator's coming down on the charge. Relatively reliable. And if they don't, they've still got the other squads all combi melted. So they can come in and pop whatever they need to.
Yeah. What were they, those other, you had 3 of them at the beginning, the ones that took out my Plague Marines? Obliterator.
The obliterators where you have.
Oh,
Do
no, yeah, there was only two of them.
they still have the
Two of
rule
them.
where you roll for their statistics each?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can be a bit swingy, but when they roll right, they're amazing.
Yep. And I got lucky and I got damage 3. That, like, the rest I didn't really care too much about because, yeah, all right, nice AP was good. They're already strength. I think the minimum they can be is like strength 7. So I'm going to be wounded on a 3 anyway. But I needed that damage 3 to go, aha, fucking Death Guard.
Yes.
You know, you're looking for damage 3 to deal with Death Guard. Or just an obscene amount of damage. But yeah. It was very satisfying when they came in. But like we said before the pod, I played the mission. I didn't care what I took out. I think I got my max 15 points from 2 of the secondaries and scored well on the third one. You know, so it was good.
It got because it got to the point. I think I don't know if it was like round 4 where because you had the one where you tally every kill. So I was doing that for Glenn.
Yeah.
Going to round 4 and I was looked to the points and I was like, well, I'm not tallying anymore because I can't win. And I just started. I was like, fuck it, take my poxwalkers off this point and push them in. I think the only the best part of glory for me was denying Khan the chance to fight.
Oh, you dick.
And just shooting him in the back.
Oh, so he didn't get the chance to fight Typhus.
No. No, he wasn't. He could have charged Karn on his turn, but no, he just chose to shoot him in the back because literally all Karn did was jump out of a Land Raider and run across and killed one of those little blight hauler thingy with jobs.
Yeah,
that's literally all he did.
But I mean, I really enjoyed it. I rolled back. Not one of my units exploded, which would have helped me a little bit. All right, just the odd mortal wound here or there. Couldn't even get one thing to explode on him. But yeah, it was good. Looking back at it, I definitely should have been more reserved to get into combat. But yeah, other than that.
But you're not used to doing that as Death Guard, though, are you?
No, exactly. I was like, yeah, I can't wait. I'm just going to get in, start swinging, get that flower swinging. Nope. He's hitting me. It really hurts.
It's in your interest to close the gap, though, because with your contagion range and stuff, you want to be in that. Whereas I thought, I'm going to get in there anyway. I might as well punch you really hard in the face whenever I'm doing it. So, hence Death Guard. But it just goes to show that, you know, the old codexes still have some tricks that you can potentially win games with. I don't know if it would work against everybody. No offense, John.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see you play someone who knows what they're doing. Like you and Shane, obviously know the game. Like so, you've got that.
When you think that we probably have played 10 actual games each, maybe.
Yeah. And I normally just throw a list together of things like I think, this will work, and then as soon as I start playing, and then get like bits that I really thought were going to do well get taken out, and I'm like, I don't know how to come back from it. Like Dave, your tank, you thought I'm going to send it to the board, and you watch it die, and you think I don't know what to do now.
Yeah. And that was the thing. It's just sometimes it's very difficult to have that plan B.
Yeah.
It comes with experience, I guess.
I think we talked about it as well, Dave, after our matches. It's like I think you get attached to the rule of cool and models in a way, and you're like, this is going to do really. You've got to be prepared to lose them.
Yeah.
As I said, it's like the Thunderwolf, the Wolf, and all that sort of stuff. I knew I was going to lose them. That's it. They're there to do one job. If they can do that job, that's amazing. But if they can't, that's fine. Something else is going to, especially at 2,000 points. But yeah, if you get bogged down because something cool that you've got on there gets blown away, that's it. And like we talked about in my list, it's purposely like it's a load of stuff that's a distraction. So it's the distraction Khan effects, right? It's like you didn't know what to take out first because you're like, fucking hell, there's the wolves and there's the wolven and there's an Invicta War Suit.
There's
And
the
so just-
Eradicators.
No, yeah, there's the Eradicators.
Yeah.
And there's Bjorn.
Yeah, but
But
like that's fine. It's there to make you split your fire rather than pick a threat.
I also think it's like what Glenn said. You guys play the mission, but I feel like I definitely do it. I'm pretty sure like Dave and Tom are the same. We're still playing to take each other out.
Yeah.
And I even when like we were setting up, I was like, right, got my secondaries. I know what I'm going to do. And as soon as like that first dice roll goes, well, Glenn went first and killed a load of stuff. I went, right, I'm just going to take him out now, and then you just forget the game. And I do it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
See,
I did try it. I did try and like sort of take play the mission and take objectives, but again, I was just outplayed, and the roles that I needed to make, I didn't make, and the roles that Shane needed to make, sometimes he made them, and yeah, it was one of those games. But I learned a lot, so and that's the main thing, is that we are new to it. Sometimes it's just in your head that you go, I want to win, I want to win, I want to win, and that's all that matters. And yeah, I'm still learning, and I was soundly beaten, but I learned a lot. So
like the
which hopefully I'll
secondaries.
use against you.
See, for me, the secondaries are the things that are the newest to me, because like missions have always had objectives. That's how it's been for years and years. But it's all the little additional things. So those are the bits and pieces that I'm trying to get my head around more so than anything else. Like I seen John's list, he had like 6 characters. So I thought, I'm definitely taking assassination.
Yeah.
Because I know I can only get 3 points for every character you assassinate. So even if I kill 5 of them, I've got my maximum points for that one. So that second is going to get me that 15 points. I'm almost 100% certain I will kill at least 5 of those guys. So it is just picking the right ones that work for your army as well. Because like if Tom's going to play, quite a static gunliney type Imperial Fist army, which is sort of the style of play that they lean towards, there's no point in him taking one that's going to be, claim all 4 table quarters and do all that kind of stuff, because his army's not going to be a particularly mobile army. It's just making sure the stuff you've picked works for your army as well.
Yeah.
Rather than just thinking, I always take this one. This is what I'm going to take. See what you've got, see what your opponent's got, then pick your secondaries. And you'll win games like 70 odd to 30 odd, whatever it was, John.
Yeah, it was about that.
Yeah.
It's all good fun. Still enjoying it though, even though I'm racking up a lot of losses.
Not as many as Tom, so it's all right.
No.
Not yet. Well, I got a bad feeling about tomorrow, but I'm going to go in there and I'll have a bit of confidence at the beginning. We'll see.
What colour dice have you picked tomorrow? The yellow ones?
What, for Imperial Fist?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because none of your other dice have worked, have they?
They haven't.
7,000 dice
far.
you have.
No. I've got to admit, I have had some really bad rolling luck. But then having said that, even when I've had some good rolls, I still haven't played that well anyway. So it's sort of like a double whammy. But I think with this one, this is going to be the first time where I've completely focused on trying to win. So I'll have no excuses after this one. In the previous game with the Blood Angels, I've just wanted to get in there and battle all the time and really not thought it through. So with this one, I have thought it through. I have thought a couple of the buffs through. So if it doesn't come off, it doesn't come off. But at least I know that I'm doing it with the intention of winning, if you know what I mean, this time, rather than just, like John said earlier, eliminating each other.
We'll start playing tomorrow and it'll go out the window.
Oh, yeah, literally. If my rolls are bad, everything is going out the window, including you. Like,
Oh,
no, it'll be fine.
cool.
Right, so as always, thank you for watching. You can join us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Search Iron and Ceramite, and our names will come up. We're also on YouTube if you are watching this, and we are on all good podcast services, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Again, search Iron and Ceramite. We are on Twitch. Occasionally, John plays Space Marine incredibly badly, so it's quite fun to abuse him while he does that. So join us on there. We do have a Patreon. Again, search Iron and Ceramite. We are hoping to put a lot more on there in the future, and be rest assured that all of the donations will go straight back into the podcast, and updating our equipment, etc. We are Element Games affiliated, so if you could use our link, still get all the same savings you would usually get by using Element Games. We get a bit of a kickback, and it helps us again to build the channel, so that is greatly appreciated. If you are on combat cards, join our clan, or don't, because I've lost interest in it, simply because Glenn and Shane are so good. But if you are very, very good at it, then you could take those two on, and I'm sure they'll enjoy the challenge. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Exterminatus!
As always, we would like to thank you for listening to our Iron and Ceramite podcast. If you liked us, then you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other good podcast services. Just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
I'll try not to, but I'm probably going to be coughing throughout this.
You got COVID.
Because even though I was wearing 2 masks, but I've sanded all the floor in the front room. So I've just got like a throat full of dust.
Dust, yeah, sure.
So,
You used to a throat full of stuff, though, right?
yeah, who's this?
Yeah.
More liquid.
Okay. Do we want to do battles that we've had first, or should we go through the models first?
I think wherever it is, we're going to have to do it relatively short, because I don't want to be sitting here for 17 hours, because I feel like that's how it's going to be at the moment. We've got so much stuff to go through.
All right, we'll do the models first then, and then we'll see what we got left. And I didn't know that you were such a fan of a wet biscuit.
Yeah, so I decided to use some alternative basing.
Right, has anyone got anything else that we've missed?
No.
No?
Nope.
Cool. Glenn, I'll hand over to you.
No, I done it the last time I was on here, so no.
Oh, that was on one of our ones, though. You said you was going to do it for the. That was a practice for the pod.
You made me do it, and I'm not doing it again. not so swiftly after the last debacle.
Okay, it went all right. I'll do this one if you want, John.
Go on. I don't. Yeah, anyone.
And subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Exterminatus!
I forgot to say it.
Don't worry, this is what John lives for in every episode. So
it's the only reason I'm here. Cool. Should we have a toilet break?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's.
Yep.